All right, everybody. We we are live, and I know that this is kind of an odd time to do a live stream on a Thursday evening, but here we are. So we'll wait for a few more people to come in, and we'll try to make it pretty quick. It's not much to cover for those of you um, that know what's coming. You've either received an email or you've been keeping up with the news. But this is it's pretty devastating for most hemp farmers, at least in the state of Virginia. The news that came out, now it's been a day, I think, um, has been pretty devastating news. Welcome to the live stream, Greystone. Good to have you with us. So let's jump right into what happened yesterday when it comes to growing hemp in the state of Virginia. And honestly, this isn't a Virginia thing. We're going to talk a lot about Virginia today, but I believe it happened to New York and one other state just yesterday. If I can go into my email real quick here, I'll be able to see. Let's see here. Aaron Williams. Let's see. So it happened to New Hampshire, New York, Mississippi, and Virginia just yesterday. Everybody found out that their state is canceling their hemp pilot program, and that goes for Virginia as well. So it's kind of pretty devastating because Virginia, along with many other states, have been in a pilot program since the 2014 Farm Bill or the 2018 Farm Bill. A lot more states got on board in 2018 than they did in 2014, as far as a wide range of growers. And these states were permitted to follow the 2014 guidelines up until this October. Now, Virginia, I can't speak for other states, but Virginia itself put in a plan back in January when the USDA laws came out last October. And they essentially said, hey, look, this is what's going to work for our farmers. We had a 0.6 total instead of a 0.3. And they went from 15 days to 30 days to harvest. It wasn't any major changes that the state of Virginia requested from the USDA. But the USDA said, no, you have to go back and revise your hemp plan. And so the state of Virginia has kind of sat on it since January. Haven't heard much about what they've been doing. And then yesterday we received an email that said the Virginia hemp program is done, kaput, October 30th, 2020. So for those fellow Virginia farmers, or if you find yourself in one of those other states I listed, New Hampshire, New York, Mississippi, you have until October 30th to harvest your plants. You, as a farmer, are not allowed to have a living cultivating plant after October 30th. So your last day to be a hemp farmer is October 30th. Now, that's not saying you can't apply for the USDA federal permit. So this now all shifts to the federal government. So some people are a little confused on where this all stands. And it essentially is Virginia and other states putting their hands up saying, look, we can't comply with this. We can't do this as a state. We don't have the resources. We don't have the funding. And we can't ask more from a growing industry. Hemp is still in its very infant stage. It's not a well-established industry yet. So I think Virginia pretty much threw up their hands and said, we can't do what you're asking, so you're going to have to do it. That's essentially what Virginia did, and all these other states did. So it puts the farmer at a disadvantage. The only beef I have with Virginia is, and maybe these other states, is that they knew this answer in August, probably even earlier than that. They waited until yesterday to tell us, and they essentially cut our legs off. Instead of having 90 days to apply for the federal permit, we now have 58 days. So we have 58 days to get our fingerprints, get a federal FBI background check, gather all that, and submit a grower permit to the USDA. Now, that doesn't mean that we're going to get a grower permit. That just means that you're applying for it. There's no guarantee that you're gonna be able to grow hemp ever again. So right now we were in a renewal process with Virginia. Now we're switching over to a completely new permit. So that's the short and skinny of it. I've gotten a lot of emails, guys. My Instagram direct messages was like just exploding at like, I don't know, 10 a.m. I think the email went out at 9 with growers all over from Virginia. And I think everybody's kind of like confused on A, why Virginia waited so long to tell us, and B, why didn't the USDA change anything? We went through this battle last year with the USDA, the interim final rule. They had a comment period. They literally said nothing. They weren't going to change a thing. That's what the USDA said last year. And so it was up to the states to submit plans. All the plans got kicked back, from my understanding. There wasn't a single plan that was accepted that was outside the realm of the USDA. So the states have essentially fallen back on the federal government. So what does this mean for hemp farmers in general? Well, it means that we're being federalized. We're no longer going to be dealing with your individual state, which, if you ask me, in my opinion, is a recipe for disaster. The federal government is pretty bad at managing pretty much everything. And then, like I said, politics aside, left, right, doesn't matter. It doesn't manage things well. It just doesn't. The federal government is too bureaucratic, and it just doesn't do a very good job at managing things. So I see this being a huge headache for small farmers. I think a lot of big farms have lawyers and pencil pushers that can handle the paperwork that's about to come with being a federal hemp grower. I'm just looking at their website. It's a lot more complicated. We went through a very minor background check for the state of Virginia to grow hemp. Now we're getting fingerprinted. Now it's going through the FBI. It's a completely different process. Now the governing body is still the USDA, but from my understanding, and maybe I'm wrong, I haven't read everything thoroughly, but it looks like the FBI is the enforcing agency, not the DEA. So it definitely has changed a lot of things. And I get a common question is like, well, this could be a good thing. It'll push a lot of hemp growers out. That's what some people say. Oh, 50% may go, it could be better for the price of hemp. It's not. Nothing about this is good for anybody. For those of you that are looking at this like, oh, I'm going to push through and everybody else is going to drop. No, a lot of people are going to try to do this. They're going to try to comply. They're going to try to grow hemp. I mean, some people have sunk their life savings. Some people have literally bet the farm. And some people have put in so much money they can't go backwards. So they're going to push forward. Doesn't mean that they're going to be successful, but they're going to push forward. I don't think that using bureaucracy as a way to increase price and demand of CBD is nothing to cheer on. Nobody should be happy about this. Nobody should be complacent about this. Because it may push out farmers, but overall the industry hurts itself. It's just not good. The more people participating, the more education can be put out there, more people can be exposed to the plant, and ultimately you get out of prohibition completely, and that goes for cannabis THC, cannabis CBD. It doesn't. Hemp was supposed to be our way of bringing cannabis to the forefront, showing that it is just a plant, that it is we're capable of handling it. And I got to tell you guys, we've been falling flat on our face as an industry. There are a few that hold themselves to that high standard, and you guys will see it on the video I release tomorrow. There's a ton of scammers. There's a lot of people that don't take this industry seriously. And why would your state, let alone the USDA, give you any preferential treatment? They're looking at this coming out of prohibition, and all we're doing is regressing. The peak was 2014, 2018 Farm Bill, and all we've done is gone backwards. And we're doing a lot of it to ourselves. You had the THCA versus Delta 9 controversy last year, which, in all intensive purposes, was the reason why the USDA made it a total THC amount. I mean, that, in a nutshell, that's probably why they did that. So in a nutshell, it's all gone to the federal level. And so anybody with a grower permit in any one of these states, it's pretty much null and void after October 30th. So you have 60 days, less than 60 days, to get your new federal permit. And that's it. I mean, and people ask me, are you going to grow? Are you going to still do this? I'll tell you everybody the same thing I told everybody last year when all this stuff hit the fan about the USDA. I got to wait and see. Am I already filling out paperwork? Yes. I am attempting to get the federal permit. That doesn't mean we'll get it, and it doesn't mean we'll grow next year. We really want to see what this is all about. Is the USDA going to listen? Because there is another comment period coming, and it is coming this fall. So that is maybe a possibility that they'll listen this time. I doubt it, but you never know. So that's in a nutshell. If you guys have questions, I can try to answer them in the best of my ability. If you guys want to leave them in the comments. I see Greystone and B-Miss Genetics are having a good time in the comments section or live chats. But overall, guys, if you guys have questions about this, let me know. Now, as far as processors go, I have no idea how they're affected. We are only a grower. We are a processor. So if you're a processor, I don't know how this affects you. I don't know if the email you got is any different than the email I got for being a grower. But I'm assuming with the entire program being dissolved that you will end up having to get a USDA permit of some sorts, whether it's a processing permit or whatever. So that's, that's pretty much it, guys. I mean, the news is just bad. It's all bad news. There's nothing good about it. The hemp industry is yet again turning another light out in an already dark room. It's getting harder and harder to defend the industry. We do a lot of damage to ourselves. I'm getting some bad news this week from Bad Genetics. And again, you guys want to watch tomorrow's video when it releases at 10:30. You'll see what I'm talking about. This is just more bad news on top of it. So yeah, in a nutshell, no good news. And if you guys are interested in the federal permit, you're going to have to go to the USDA website. I had it. I don't know if I have the link. I can share it. Let me see if I can share it in the chat if you guys want to see it. Here's the link. Copy paste. I'm gonna paste the federal USDA hemp permit program in the live chat right now. And then I'm going to get to, I see a couple questions. Let's see. Hunter. Hey, Hunter, I saw your email. I know you've been trying to get in touch with me. Hunter, Hunter, your question about the medical card is referring to THC. There is no grower program in Virginia, and there sure as hell is not a grower program any longer for hemp. You are not allowed to grow with that medical card. Now, I'm not here for legal advice, but Hunter, I saw your email, and to bring clarification to you, Virginia is not a home grow state. You are, just because you have that medical card means absolutely nothing. Virginia, we don't even have a dispensary, but they have medical cannabis, and you're not allowed to grow it. And they're still working that out up in Richmond. So your medical card is about as useless as toilet paper. No offense. But there is no grower program in Virginia. We're called York River Cannabis. We grow cannabis, but we grow cannabis sativa, CBD dominant. We don't grow THC because we're not allowed to. And that's part of these new rules and regulations that came from the USDA. All that has changed. So, Hunter, to answer your question, no, there is no kind of shoe-in. No, you cannot grow THC cannabis in the state of Virginia legally. And now you can't even grow CBD hemp in Virginia legally unless you get a federal permit. And if you have a medical card for THC cannabis, you probably don't want to go through an FBI background check and get a federal permit. Just saying. Let's see. B-Miss, I was probably just York Fig over the chat. Hey, B-Miss, Greystone, I love seeing you guys being in the chat. Now, Greystone, I can't go to Maine. It's just too cold, buddy. Just too cold. Love lobster from Connecticut. Love New England as my home, but I'm not moving to Maine. We do work with a farm up in Vermont. They're allowed to grow their plants, but I can't do Maine, man. Can't do it. Love the lobster. I'm not moving up to Maine. But yeah, so sorry, Hunter, for the disappointing news. But Virginia, that's just not the way it is. Yeah, man, I can't do the cold up there. I just can't. Now I've been living here for 8 years. There's no way I could do the cold now. Maybe when I lived in Connecticut, but not now. But yeah, there's this time around, folks. I know I always try to stay positive with this stuff, with hemp and with the industry. We've been beaten, battered, and bruised so much in this year, pretty much from when the rules came out, Halloween of last year, to today. I mean, it's just been getting worse and worse and worse. And the industry seems to be at a breaking point, because a lot of the states are just throwing their hands up and saying, you deal with it, federal government. You made the mess. You handle it. And I think you're going to see, if I were to take a guess, I would think you're going to see probably 35 to 40 of the 50 states go to the USDA platform. And I think that's great. I honestly think all 50 states should throw their hands up, because this is their problem. The USDA created a problem. Everything was running smoothly until they decided to make these ridiculous rules. These aren't rules passed by Congress, which is a whole nother issue. These are rules established by a governing agency, not legislature. If you look at legislature, it's Delta 9 at a dry weight basis, not total at 0.3. And it sure as hell doesn't say anything about checking your harvest. You have 15 days to harvest. So these are rules that were created and a mess created by a governing agency, not by a legislator. And that's the part that a lot of people don't understand. This isn't a law. This is a rule. The law says you can grow hemp. The rule says you need a permit. The rule says you need to go through the USDA. The rule says it has to be 0.3 total. So there is ability to push back. It's just whether we have a coordinated pushback or everybody just kind of walks away. And there's a lot of people that are already fed up with where we're at with cannabis. There hasn't been any progression in the last year. It's only been regression. We've only been going backwards. So, do your do your due diligence, and you know, at the federal level, you should be looking at who you're electing. Um, Politics aside, right, left, doesn't matter. You got to look at who these people are as human beings. Are they in it for you, or are they in it for themselves? Are they in it for the American people, or are they in it to get rich? Because a lot of them, they go in it to get rich. I mean, you can see my rant about the hemp program in Virginia allowing only 10 types of pesticides from one company. Tell me that's not weird, like it just like I said, it's regression after regression. So do your due diligence, call your senators, call your representatives, try to see what this deal is. You can't go on the phone and yell at the poor lady at the Department of Agriculture in your state. She has no control over what happens. So I'm sure a lot of people probably called poor Erin Williams at the Virginia Department of Agriculture of the hemp program and lit her up the other day. I'm sure of it. But that poor woman, she has absolutely no control over Virginia closing down the hemp program. That has everything to do with the USDA last year. But I think a lot of people forget that this was a very delayed rule input. Now, our friends up north in Maryland, I believe they've already done this. I believe Maryland already said, nope, no hemp program, and they were already under that USDA program this year, this grow season. I think Virginia kind of gave their farmers a reprieve, I guess, for 2020, and we status quo for this grow season. But now we all have to be done harvesting by October 30th, 2020, and I believe you're allowed to sell your 2020 crop and possess the flower from your 2020 crop in the state of Virginia. You just can't have a live cultivating plant. That doesn't mean that you can't have your trash bags full of flowers, or your totes or whatever, or your drying shed still has branches in it on November 1st. Are you illegal? The way I read it, and again, no legal advice here, but the way I read it is you are perfectly fine. That the Virginia hemp program will protect you up until you're done selling your harvest, or maybe when your permit expires. That part I'm not sure about, but you are protected of possessing it. You just aren't protected in growing it. You have to have a new governing agency to grow it, and that is the USDA. So that's that's just the bad news, folks. I mean, I don't see any questions in the live chat of this. I know I'm pretty fed up with it. But we're in the middle of harvest, and yet again, here we go. We're getting more regulations, rule changes in the middle of harvest season. I just wish they would stop doing it in the fall. Do it in the spring. Do it in the summer. Stop doing it in the harvest season. And you almost think it's on purpose, but these people in these offices, they have no idea. They have no clue when it's harvest, when it's busy, when it's not busy. They sit at a desk, they make these rules, they make decisions, and then they put it on you. And you've got to make it work. And that's what we're going to do. And so we're going to do it. Today we set up our drying shed. We're going through the motions as we did in 2019. It was 104 degrees here in Southeast Virginia today. So if I look tired and hot, it's because I am tired and hot. It was absolutely awful out there today. Hey, Joe, welcome to the chat. It's all about control. That's how the government is going to do it. Yeah, I mean, it does seem like total control. They want it to be under one governing branch, and it's going to be the USDA. I don't see Virginia or any other state going and saying, oh, yeah, we'll restart our hemp program. No, I think this thing is done. I think there is no reviving the Virginia hemp program. I think that if you have any hope that that's going to be the case, that your state is going to restart a hemp program, I think you're sorely mistaken. I think you're in the wrong camp. That's just my personal opinion. I could be completely wrong. But I don't see a 2022 farm bill or whenever they renew the farm bill reestablishing hemp programs. I think they're going to just leave it up to the USDA. So you've got to make that decision if you want to be a federal hemp grower or no hemp at all, because I don't think they're going to go backwards. Hunter, where do you see us being with hemp 4 years down the road? Where I see us with hemp 4 years down the road, I don't know. We've Virginia as a whole, I have no clue. As federally, I see us going more to the fiber and seed hemp. I see the CBD flower going the way of the kale boom. I think it's going to peter off at some point. Because I think there's going to be less grower participation, and I think people just don't want the headaches. It's going to be way easier to grow fiber hemp, be way easier to grow seed hemp and food hemp. So that's the way I see it. I see in 4 years, I see the majority of the hemp industry as a whole definitely seeing an uptick in production for fiber and seed and a downtick in CBD. That's just my personal belief. I could be completely wrong on that too. If the Moores Act passes and everything gets decriminalized, well, Christ, I could be completely wrong. But chances are we're going to see a shift in that, just like other nations like Canada and Europe. You're going to see the shift to more basic necessity type hemp and food and fiber. Let's see, with Climate Farms, Northern Neck, Virginia. I'm assuming Northern Neck, Virginia, which isn't too far from us here in Gloucester. What it takes to make all this happen. Trying to make unrealistic regulations. Yeah, they're all unrealistic regulations. In fact, Newport News, it's even closer. They are making unrealistic regulations. I mean, they're so unrealistic that the state of Virginia attempted to make them better for us as a farmer. If you got a beef with the state of Virginia, you haven't been reading what they tried to do. They tried to make our lives as hemp farmers easier last year. Well, I guess early this year, last year, when they submitted their hemp proposal to the USDA. They did their due diligence. I mean, no question about it. Virginia attempted to save the hemp program. And they said, well, look, guys, your rules are really unsustainable for our hemp farmers. We want 30 days for harvesting instead of 15, and they wanted 0.6 instead of 0.3. I mean, we're not talking anything crazy. Like, I think North Carolina or maybe another state asked for 1%. I think that was a little too much. I think Virginia submitted a absolutely reasonable plan. I didn't agree with it 100%, but it was reasonable and it stood up for the farmer. And when that regulation was kicked back and the USDA said no, that was pretty much the end of it. Virginia didn't attempt to resubmit a proposal. And what would be the point? They're going to accrue costs. I'm going to stick up for the state here for a minute, even though they kind of messed up a little bit on the announcement. They would accrue more cost of the hemp program. They would require more agents for testing, more testing facilities, and think about the cost of all those farmers. They're going to either have to pass that down through permitting, they're going to have to raise a tax, or they're going to have to pull that funding from somewhere else. And given the state of the economy, I don't think that they're going to try to pull it from something else. So the state said, let the federal government handle it. They got money, right? So to be fair, Virginia has done their job. And I really am proud of them at least attempting to try to make it better for us. There was a lot of states that didn't even try. So at least Virginia tried, and you got to respect that. Joe, yeah, they're trying to shut us down now. They'll wait till this time of year, and then they want to call it quits. And I just don't think it's right. Yeah, I mean, they've this is now the second year in a row, both years we've been growing, that they have attempted to change the rules in the middle of harvest season. That's now, to be fair, we always knew that October 30th was the end date for us here in Virginia when it came to the 2014 Farm Bill. What we didn't expect was such a drastic change that you couldn't even grow a plant after October 30th. We cannot grow a plant after October 30th. I cannot say that enough for those of you that are in a state, Mississippi, New Hampshire, was it New York, and Virginia. You cannot grow a plant if you are registered right now as a hemp grower. You cannot grow a plant after October 30th. That's a big rule change, guys. You can't have one standing in your field. You can't have one in a grow tent. You can't have one in your greenhouse. You are not allowed to grow hemp any longer. And I think that's the biggest shock to the whole thing. Like, usually it's a gradual thing. This is a light switch. This is a complete light switch. And that's the problem I have with it. They're not even giving you a grace period. The grace period is, well, you have 58 days to make it work. 58 days in the busiest 58 days of being a hemp farmer. It's unreal. So no, it isn't fair. It's not right, Joe. And but there's nothing we can do about it. There's just nothing we can do about it. They're stopping us from selling flour here. Where's here, Joe? I forget where you're coming from. But let me know. I don't. They haven't said that they're going to stop us from selling flour. Who knows? I mean, surprise! What bad news are they going to send us next? But it didn't say we couldn't sell flour. I believe it just said we couldn't grow the plant. But I mean, if you can't sell flour, what the hell's the point of harvesting it, right? Might as well just pack up shop and plow it under. That's where I see that. Yeah, let's see. Hunter, Congress needs to put a bill on Trump's desk, and he'd sign it. Yeah, I mean, and again, I don't like to be, and I obviously have my own political views, but I don't like to dive into politics on the channel. It's too divisive right now. But you're right. Congress does need to pass a bill, and it does need to sit on the president's desk. To quote the president himself, "You're a fool to run against illegal marijuana." He said that to the governor of Wisconsin, who lost his reelection campaign. You don't run against legal marijuana. He's smart enough to know that, and so he would definitely sign the bill. So to be fair, Congress needs to do their job, get off their ass and do something. The Senate needs to get off their ass and do something. But the problem is we're in a re-election year. We're in a major re-election year. Don't expect these idiots in D.C., any single one of them, to do a damn thing for the American people. They just want to make sure that they keep their job. That's it. So don't expect anything to happen anytime soon. That's just the way it is, unfortunately. Joe, you are in Indiana. So they're doing no flour in Indiana. Wow. See, that's what I'm saying, guys. Like, you go through all this work. What the hell you got left? You know, and they always change the rules right when it happens. Like right now, everybody's harvesting or getting ready. A lot of the CBG strains are already being harvested. They're usually earlier than the CBD, so people are already full blown into harvest season. I mean, we're about to start about next week ish, maybe a little later. Yeah, this is crazy. Let's see. The oil is the only thing that we're allowed to sell in Indiana. Want us to turn everything into oil. I mean, most states want you to turn everything into oil. Virginia, at least our state, Virginia definitely got more pro flower starting in July. We have one ounce of any cannabis flower decriminalized. We just got, you can't be searched on smell in Virginia, and hemp is completely legal. I think it's 18 and older, but it might be 21. And I think, I can't remember, but regardless, hemp flower is completely safe here in Virginia, and that is something they've done for us also. Again, folks, if you're sitting here watching me and you're a Virginia hemp farmer and you're mad, don't be mad at our state. Our state has done everything in their power to make our lives easier. You know, if you're going to bitch about our state, bitch about our federal representatives, bitch about, you know, our senators, bitch about our congressmen, but don't take it out on our state stuff, because the state has done nothing but help and support the hemp industry in this state. They've done really, really well supporting us, and we need to be happy about what they've done for us. I mean, as you see the hemp program disappear, at least you can say, you know, they tried. I mean, those people up in Maryland, they didn't even try. So, you know, give them credit where credit is due. It's just, it sucks that it happens right now. You know, you got to go get your fingerprints done. So I'll cover what to do to get your federal permit. And if you guys have more questions, ask them. Then we'll probably close out for the night because it's tired, or it's late. I'm tired. And we'll do that. But so to get your federal permit, I put the link in the live chat. Go ahead and check it out. It is it's USDA.gov rules and regulations, hemp licensed producers. And they go over everything you need to do. Woodland Holistic. I thought you guys went under USDA, Maryland. I thought you guys were USDA, but maybe not. Maybe you guys are still state run. Maybe I read a wrong article, but I thought Maryland went under the USDA. But thank you for correcting me, Woodland Farms. Hope you're doing well up there. Your plants look awesome. I've seen you on Instagram. Everything looks good up there for your plants. Yeah, so maybe Maryland didn't. I could have swore I read that you guys were under USDA regulations. Or maybe your state adapted the new regulations for this year. Because the way I remember seeing it was that Maryland went to the 15-day harvest and the 0.3. Well, everybody went to the 0.3, but they just changed the rules. Went from Delta 9 to total. It was always Delta 9. They wanted to pretend like it was always total. It wasn't. But Joe, you're out. You have yourself a good night as well. But thanks, Woodland, for correcting him on that. So not until October 31st, then we change, and we'll hopefully get an update. Well, I hope you guys up in Maryland get a better result than we do. So you guys are in a little bit different situation then. I mean, we're technically still under the 2014 Farm Bill. I think so don't fret yet. Your grow is fine if you're in Virginia today. But it looks like Maryland is maybe even going with the Delta 9. But again, I don't grow in Maryland, and I always tell people that I can only speak for what happens in Virginia. I read articles, but clearly whatever article I read was not correct. Fake news. But so Maryland is not under the USDA, but you can go on their website and they'll tell you right now, New York, New Hampshire, Mississippi, and Virginia have all made a similar decision on their hemp program. So there you go. So we're not the only ones in this boat. And I have a feeling more states are going to follow, especially as budgets start coming in. I think funding for this program was probably the #1 issue here in Virginia. The way that Virginia is and others have, though, I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, I mean, Woodland, I think you guys are going to follow suit with Virginia. I mean, if you want my honest opinion, I already thought, like I said, I already thought you guys were there. I don't see. My prediction is at least 40 of the 50 states will do this, and it may be all 50. I really see everybody going this way. Uh, I don't see any state willing to put up the money that it's going to take to meet these demands of the USDA. But it sucks. I mean, it sucks. And maybe I'm giving Virginia too much credit. Maybe they threw in the towel too early. I mean, if Maryland hasn't thrown in the towel yet, if they're not going under the federal program yet, then hey, maybe Virginia gave up on us. I don't know. But from my outlook and my position, it looked like they at least tried. But I could be completely wrong. I could find out more news next week, and it could be, oh, they didn't even try. Well, there you go. But yeah, Woodland. Well, your plants look great, man. Keep it up there, and all we can do is work together and try to make the best of a bad situation. Like I said, I think the peak of hemp was the 2018 Farm Bill, where it pretty much got everybody out, and we were able to grow hemp, and everything was good. And since that bill was signed, I feel like everything has just gotten worse. I mean, there's no other way to say it. We got the interim rules and regulations last year. You got states forfeiting their programs this year. I mean, I don't know what's coming next year, but it's probably not good. But that's yeah, it is what it is. Woodland, thank you, man. Hey, thank you, and keep up the good work on Instagram. I really need to get on my Instagram more. I really do. I have been so busy and strung out lately, guys. It was a lot to even get this live stream going today. But thank you, man. Your plants look great. You keep up the good work up there. And for those of you watching today, all I can say is follow the rules. Don't do anything crazy. Try to make the best of a bad situation. Get all the information you can. I can try to help as best I can, but I only know what I know. I'm not the wizard of answers. I'll try to give you an educated guess or an answer to the best of my ability, but it's up to you guys to find out what your state's doing. And I just know that, if you're in New York, Virginia, New Hampshire, Mississippi, we're all in the same boat together. There will be other states following suit, and I'm sure of it. And it's probably going to get messier before it gets any better. But there will be another public comment period this fall. That's what it says, anyways, on the USDA website. But, folks, I think I'm going to wrap this one up. Thank you, Woodland, for joining the live chat, and for everybody else that was in there today, Joe and others. I appreciate you guys coming in, being here for the live chat. If you guys have any questions, now's the time, but I think I'm going to sign off for the evening. And I'll explain some more stuff in tomorrow's video. I actually have to go edit that now. That's why I'm going to have to take off for the evening. But I hope everybody stays positive. Try to just find some positivity. It's hard to find, but stay with it. Keep hemp in the light. Don't let it regress back to the dark. You don't want it going backwards. Let's keep it going forward. Try your best to stay within the rules that they set, as ridiculous as they are, and we'll do the best we can with what they give us. What can we do to have farmers' voices heard exactly? I don't have the direct answer for that yet, Hunter. Last year, I kind of did like a round table up here in Richmond, Virginia. I was also in close contact with an individual who was in close contact, or actually contacted our Virginia senators, AG policymakers, Warner and Tim Kaine, and So I will probably get more information on what to do. But at this point, there's no point in bothering anybody at the state level. This is going to be a federal level thing. So I will try to get more information. I will reach out to that individual who I talked to last time, and we'll try to get you some information. But that is all I have for the evening, guys. Don't forget, leave a comment on videos. Find me on Instagram. Find me on Facebook. I try to get on there, and that's how you can contact me. And yeah, well, y'all have a great evening, and stay positive. Check out tomorrow's video, and I'll see you next time, guys. So take care.